It is early morning and it is still raining because I'm on vacation, so of course it rains. Um, but I am still looking through um, the many lists that I have seen for the Bring Your Guns tournament. And right now I have gotten to a newer player called Adrian. And Adrian has made an interesting list, which is not a list I would expect from a new player. It's way more competitive, I guess, in many of its choices than what I would have expected to see. It's not very regular, but it is very interesting. And I'll just go through what he has, and we can talk about the different ideas I think there is behind this list. It's a 19 order dice Soviet reinforced platoon. Generic reinforced, nothing special, no theater, no nothing. And he has brought a lieutenant, inexperienced, and the obligatory free rifle squad. And then comes the interesting bits, because he has chosen some competitively interesting units for his infantry. He has chosen mounted recon squads. Mounted recon has that special rule, which I'm just going down here to see if I can find it there. They may elect to leave members of the squad in the vehicle that they have exited from to man, weapons for a Bren carrier or whatever, which makes them really interesting because he does bring Bren carriers for them to go up in. It makes the unit way smaller, but it makes the vehicle immune to that thing where the transport goes away after if the enemy is closer, right? It makes it immune, and it can still fire all of its guns. This is the only unit that can do that in the entire game, and it is very, very interesting to do it. It is highly competitive, and at the same time, they pack a punch because they are equipped with a flamethrower. So it's basically a flamethrower team that can make a transport immune to the normal transport rules. That is brilliant. It costs 70 points for a regular unit of this type, and that is all. Every single point is worth it. Every single point. So that's really good. He's also brought an infantry flag, which I'm not sure why, but it's fun, and I think he has the model for it, so that's always fun. And it's a comparatively cheap dice at 25 points. It's not very good, not very useful. He has a sniper team, regulars, and then he has 2 inexperienced dog mines. Here he makes a choice which I think is maybe a bit weird, but at the same time it is interesting. It's not how I usually see dog mines run, and there you can tell he's a newer player, right? Because they always come up with the ideas that we older players, we sort of get set in our ways. We play things in a certain way, and we expect them to be played in that way. We sort of develop a meta for what it's done, and when somebody comes along and breaks it, that is when interesting stuff happens. He runs his dog mine teams as 3-man units. Now, I would never do that, because that makes them not a small team anymore. But on the other hand, most of the time, dog mines, they sit behind total line of sight blocking cover, so why would you need to worry about that? And the extra dog it can be really useful, because you walk a dog mine team up against some tanks that have maybe done stuff, or maybe it's the first dice of a round and they haven't done anything and nobody is in ambush. You walk up the dogs and you fire 3 of them against different targets. Damn, you can take out somebody's whole armor section of his platoon in one go. I can see the point. I can definitely see the point. That's where veteran players learn stuff as well, right? So very, very interesting. Now, to support this, he has a huge vehicle park. He has an M30 rocket launcher, which is basically a Nebelwerfer, and that's always good to get the enemy to scatter a bit. And he has a spotter for it, so it can fire at stuff that the spotter can see. Very good. And then he has tanks and Bren carriers and jeeps. He brings along the T-26 light tank, which is a very, very soft, very light tank, 7+ and 2 MMG turrets. So it's one of the early war tanks, right? The one that has like 2 turrets that can sort of move around, like, yeah, next to each other. It's really weird looking, but it's good. And the split fire that it can do works well as well. And then comes the 2 Bren carriers that his mounted recon is sitting in. Of course, with the extra pintle-mounted LMG, and both of them regular, so you can shoot well from them. I like that one. That is a thing that I would encourage more Soviet players to think about, that mounted recon rule. Not something that I see every time, but I definitely like it. And then 2 jeeps, which I am guessing he's going to use for his dog mines, which... Isn't that interesting? He's giving his dog mines extra range by being in jeeps. So they can sit behind total line of sight cover. If he gets the first die of a turn, he can move them up in the jeep 12 inches. He can then, if he gets the next die, get out, move another 6 inches. That's 18 inches. And then he has 24-inch range on his dogs. Oh, man. He can cover most of the table like that. Cheers.